If you have feminists out here who tell men that they're no good, they're trash, every time they look, they find a ain't shit nigga or whatever the case is, how are you any different?
Society that tells you if you don't do that via marriage, then you're wrong. Well, explain that to all the men who were in these divorces who did it via marriage and now they're still alone and still, the children are still not in the household with them. Or explain that to the men who do that and then raise the children to be grown and then a woman still divorces them and now ain't no children in the house and the woman still getting money out of them. There is no benefit to even dealing with the woman. So now you got a woman you're not even dealing with anymore because the children are grown. And you still got to send her money because she decides she don't want to be with you no more.
I was raised up in a household where both of my parents were together, still are together. Both of my grandparents were together. Both of my great-grandparents on both sides, grandparents on both sides were together. Everything wasn't perfect, but they knew how to stay together. What's going on here is that dysfunction is being the primary source and the primary image and the primary example for black people and how black people are and how black people should function. And that because of your dysfunction and your trauma that you haven't gotten over and gotten the necessary therapy for, that now because of your dysfunction and your experience, that's what we should contribute our life to, and we shouldn't try to be better. We shouldn't try to improve. We shouldn't try to build on relationships or try to get over past trauma or understand that the trauma that we went through or that we experienced isn't the end all be all to life itself. No, this is reality. And it's ironic that you have red pill content men that tell women that, trashy men, this, that, and the third, and they can't find a good man, that they are projecting. But what are you projecting? If you have feminists out here who tell men that they're no good, they're trash, every time they look to and fro, that they find a ain't shit nigga or whatever the case is, how are you any different? Because generally you say that you shouldn't invest your time in trying to marry a woman. You don't get any benefits from building a relationship with a woman. These men never been in a marriage, and if they have, they weren't with the right woman. These men don't have families to give you an example of how a man should be in terms of how to lead a family, how to find a wife, how to build a household, and how to create generational wealth. How did you come to the conclusion that marriage is not beneficial to men? You're talking about divorce. You're not talking about marriage.
You're in a society that tells you if you don't do that via marriage, then you're wrong. Well, explain that to all the men who were in these divorces who did it via marriage and now they're still alone and still, the children are still not in the household with them. Or explain that to the men who do that and then raise the children to be grown and then a woman still divorces them and now ain't no children in the house and the woman still getting money out of them.
You're talking about divorces. You're not talking about marriage. It's not built on commitment, loyalty, love, business. If it's not built on strategy, ambition, even spirituality, intimacy, if it's not built on those things, then why are y'all in a relationship? Why aren't y'all endorsing and advertising content for men on how to get with a woman and build a foundation with that woman?